the heartbeat of culture, the rhythm of evolution, and the pulse of community. Some people play tracks, but there are those rare souls who orchestrate experiences, weave stories through sound, who hold space for joy and liberation on the dance floor. Their hands move with ancestral memory, and their selections speak to both past and future. Their energies transform the rooms. They allow people to feel and free up themselves. And they don't just read the crowd, they commune with them, they celebrate with them, and they create with them. DJ Dre Ngozi is a sonic curator, a cultural preservationist, a vibe architect, and a woman who proves that music is a language of its own. And today I am honored to welcome producer, creative, and iconic DJ Dre Ngozi.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so honored and what a beautiful introduction. I'm like, should I be here? Is this time for me? Great.
It's for you, girl. It's for you. Dre, when you were just a child, you were recording your first radio shows in your room, those old Sesame Street tape recorders. You were looking for something, you were seeking something. What was that little girl longing for when she pressed play and record, weaving her story into the airwaves? Looking back, what do you think she was trying to tell you about the incredible, beautiful artist that you would become?
Okay, firstly, you definitely did your research. Well done. I'm still recording my little shows in my room with my microphone to this day. Nothing's changed. But wow, that's a really good first question. What was I looking for? I think an opportunity to kind of um explore the world through my eyes as a 9-year-old, and it didn't matter if anybody who was listening to that, but myself. But it was like, this is how I'm interpreting the songs that I'm hearing on the radio, and this is how I kind of want to engage with them and record them and document them for at that time my own pleasure because literally no one heard these tapes. I had my own radio station called Cool Andy 13, cool with a K, obviously. So I think that's what I was trying to do at 9, I'm sure.
Yeah, you were curious, you were ready to create something that you couldn't even maybe comprehend at the time. Yeah, and
Exactly that, yeah.
growing up, you were surrounded by music that spoke to different parts of your heritage, Trinidadian and Nigerian. I'm also Trinidadian.
Oh,
Yes, honey.
oh.
We are full of spirit, we are full of
Mhm.
rhythm, and how did those sounds shape your soul? How did they feel like an invitation to return to something deeper inside of you, something ancient and unspoken? How does that connection guide you today?
I think what's beautiful about growing up in a heavily predominantly Caribbean household, as you know, is music is such, a big component to our gatherings. And, like, daily life as well, whether it's, like, your mom, cleaning and cooking, and whether it's the gospel music that's playing or the reggae that's playing or old school soca that's playing, and when you had family gatherings, like, I in my family anyway, there was always a dance party at some point. Once the dinner was done and the drink was dranked, right, and things started to get a little bit loose, the aunties would start singing, like, old calypso and old soca songs and start dancing, and that's something I hold so dear to my heart, and it wasn't until I was older and talked to, like, other people, especially growing up in Canada, who they're like, "What are you talking about? We don't do that." And I was like, "What do you mean?" Like, "What do you mean your aunties aren't singing old songs to you and your uncles aren't hitting, a little spoon or knife on a bottle of beer," or something like that? Like, it was such a norm. You're passing out at family functions on the jackets because it's late and your mom and your uncle or whoever just wanna keep partying and still keep going, and you're like I remember, falling asleep next to the speakers, just thump, 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 thump as a kid. So that rhythm was just kind of like, it's just always there. It's like embedded in you. Yeah, I think so.
I so relate to that. Especially in the holidays, there's Christmas times, they're
Mhm.
drinking punch and all the things. Where,
The parang is playing.
listen,
Exactly that.
exactly.
The accents, like everyone always says, like the Trini accent in particular is so sing-songy.
Mhm, it is.
It literally is. It literally is. So that, all of those variations and harmonies that come out of our voices and the voices that you hear growing up were so, I don't know, had such a great deep impact on how I just interpreted sounds in general, I feel.
Yeah, I love that you brought up that sing song because it's a beautiful melody within its own.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Exactly.
As you were DJing family parties and just exploring music on your own, did you ever experience moments when music really felt like the only language that truly understood you? How did it give you the strength in your inner world to navigate times that might have been difficult or capture a feeling that you couldn't say in words, but only in sound?
I think both as, like, firstly, obviously, someone who took in music and listened to music, as a kid, especially as a teenager, I would say there is certain artists and albums that really spoke to me that, you know, you're a teenager and it's maybe the first time you experience love, I'll use that very lightly, and, heartbreak, and you don't really even know what that means, but you're feeling these things, but, Toni Braxton at the time, she got it. So, yes, I'm gonna listen to her on repeat, crying in my room, you know what I mean? Drawing my little sketch pad. Um, I don't necessarily understand all of the subject matters that she's singing about, but something is resonating. Some emotional frequency is resonating with whatever it is I'm experiencing at that time. So, that's what I would say in terms of being a listener. In terms of, like, literally, I would DJ my uncle's birthday parties, and I think it was beautiful to see. I was a very quiet child. I'm still kind of quiet, though people wouldn't think that. So I didn't speak a lot, but to be able to, like, play music for adults and kind of be the conductor of the vibes at such a young age and getting them dancing and getting them hype was really exciting to me. I was like, "Ooh, this is, like, powerful stuff here," you know? And I didn't have to talk. It was a win-win all around. I could be part of what was happening, but not necessarily be at, like, the center stage of it.
DJing is such a
Mhm.
delicate chemistry. You have to feel the room, what's the vibe, what's your vibe, and kind of sync all of those frequencies into the crowd. How do you tune into that? Is there an intangible pulse in the air that just kind of speaks to you? Because I can imagine it's something deeper and spiritual. It's that connection that you form with the crowd, and then
Mm.
everything just aligns so seamlessly.
I think it took me a while to even recognize the power of the dance floor and how much of it is as a medicine for people. It wasn't until, like, at my really early, like, when I first started DJing, that someone came up to me, because I used to do, like, body work. I still do from time to time. Um, and a client of mine was actually at a party I was DJing at, and she came up to me and she was like, "Dre, like, the you getting us dancing and moving, this is healing for us as well. Like, you're healing us in a different kind of way." And I had never really considered it like that. And sometimes you forget that when you're behind the booth because you're thinking about all the things you just mentioned and then some. And it's important to kind of lock in and be like, as you said, you're like, whoa, I kind of am, like, responsible for the frequency in this room of anywhere from 50 people to, like, 3,000 people. That's wild. No big deal. Like, it can be overwhelming, and it can be overwhelming when you really, like, tune into that. You know what I mean? You're like, "Whoa," and then you really do feel the frequency of other people, and it definitely is like a kind of a feedback loop that's going on. Like you are reading the crowd and they're reading you and you're being perceived. And then you're throwing it another thing out there. Really like that? I don't know. We're taking us on this journey now. Are you guys gonna, oh, maybe not. We're gonna bring it back. It's just like a constant conversation that's going on and a constant exchange that's going on. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But isn't that just the way life is?
Yeah, that is the way life is.
Mhm.
Music has been your refuge, your tool for connection, and like you just said, healing, and that is such a powerful tool within itself. But how has music saved you when it lifted you up from a space of darkness or help you rediscover your light and show you that music you can use music as both a healer and a mirror?
Hmm. I think because the way in which I just live my life in general is heavily based on energetics and frequency. Like I said, I'm also in the healing arts. So for me, it's all just vibrational. I People always ask me like, Dre, what are you listening to these days? And oftentimes it's like Tibetan singing bowls. I'm not listening to no music at all. I'm just listening to frequencies. Cuz you know what? The world outside, there's a lot going on and I need a moment to kind of recalibrate. So, oftentimes for me, I will just go back to the almost like the root of sound, which is just frequency, you know?
Yes.
And that is healing for me. That's kind of helping me to recalibrate and reconfigure and do whatever needs to be done in my subconscious mind and my chakras and my energy fields. I might not necessarily want to feel a particular emotion, that certain songs might evoke, but when it comes to frequency, it's kind of like an energetic shower and cleansing that's happening, so I'm often there because I'm dealing with other people's energies all the time on the dance floor in my personal life or whatever it is.
Yeah, I mean, you have to have the discernment to say, "I need a moment to ground. The world is loud. I need some binaural beats play."
That's what I'm the queen of boundaries, so that's very easy for me to do.
She said she's the queen of
Yeah, yeah. First shutting it down.
Ooh,
I need me time.
truly, that's a
Well, then I'm able to, like, show up better and, like, show up not in shambles.
yeah, yeah.
know?
How did you find the strength to surrender to that process, trusting that even the points in the loudness, that something was still being birthed into that present moment of grounding?
You have no other choice. Survival? I think when you start to see what happens to you when you don't, and you're like, I don't like where this is going. I don't like this version of myself. I don't like how I'm, moving through the world in that particular energy. Um, I think that's how I kind of see life. Like I really end up in situations where the alternative I don't like. So what am I going to do about it? I'm going to take control over it and this is the best I can do because again, majority of things are out of your control. What can I control? I'm going on a little tangent here. But the most I can do is control my energy field, and my frequency. I can't y'all be doing what y'all be doing, but Imma go over here and do you know what I mean? I'm gonna recalibrate and try my best, but I don't know if I answered your question at all.
Oh, that's true.
Okay.
That there's so much truth in that, absolutely. You've had the courage to leave what was comfortable, you've traveled to so many beautiful places, you've seen different cultures, and you've traveled. I mean, what a blessing that is within itself, and you've, I'm sure, along the journey, have uncovered so many new pieces of yourself, you've seen an unfolding in that, within itself, but how have you discovered new dimensions of your soul that you didn't even know existed through your travels? Have any of those discoveries redefined your identity as an artist?
I think going back to how you started this, question, first of all, I like to acknowledge that it's very much a privilege that I am able to travel and see the world, and I'm blessed to have a career or have chosen a career that helps to facilitate that. Because I think about, the lineage that I come from and the very independent, strong women that I came from who didn't have the opportunity to do what I do and see the world in the way in which I've seen it. So a lot of what I do is for them. Yes, for me, because I do love to travel and experience different things, but I always have them in the back of my mind and in my heart, that they worked really hard and sacrificed so much for me to be able to live this kind of life. So what I've learned in being able to travel the world is, I think I'm more adaptable than I think I've always known I'm adaptable, but I can really adapt. I can really I've learned to really respect different cultures because I love to learn about the different ways people live, and I like to kind of morph a little bit. As you can, if you see me, most of the time people don't recognize me because my hair is always different. I like to play dress up. I like to morph into different personalities. That's kind of one how I express myself, but how I tap into different aspects of myself, because that's part of my identity is like opening up all of these little compartments. Like, this is a version of Dre that they're all versions of me and they're all equally true. So I think traveling and engaging and learning from other people, I've met such amazing people and communities and peers all around the world that have encouraged me even more so to explore those different parts of myself, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in doing that, you have to be vulnerable at some points
Mhm.
too. And, opening up your own heart to accepting all of the versions of yourself. I mean, people don't always see that journey, within us. But how do you care for your spirit when you give so much of yourself to others? How do you protect your inner peace, knowing that as much as you want to give, you have to heal too?
Going back to I'm the queen of boundaries, I think it's just it's sometimes not that hard because as much as I love humans and I love everyone, I love me the most. I love me more. So
Not sorry.
another so like I'm like, what do I need right now? What do I need right now? Again, because I will only be beneficial to everyone if I'm a better version of myself. I've always had that mentality. Like, I cannot help you if I'm struggling. It just energetically, it doesn't even make sense to me. So I'm gonna step away and do what I need to do. Like, my friends laugh at me all the time. Like, I will go ghost mode for weeks. Like, my phone's usually on do not disturb 95% of the time. I don't want to hear a bing, ding, ring, ding, nothing. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it.
Oh.
I don't want to hear it. So, because I'm like, and they're like, oh, it's Dre time. She's doing, she's taking, yeah, I need a minute to create the space to process what is happening in the world and what I think about it, how I feel about it, how it's impacting me, what am I going to do next? I I think it's very important to take that time without guilt. I think a lot of people have guilt around taking the time for that, and I don't have that.
No, being that's real. Thank you for sharing that. In your freedom, you've really surrendered to yourself. You are the queen of it. You just said a queen of boundaries.
Mhm.
What does that feel like on a soul level? Like that freedom, that liberation, just knowing the resilience and power in the stillness.
I think one thing I've realized as I get older is I never considered myself wildly free until more recently when people tell me that not only in the way that I live my life, but in how I, like, conduct myself. Like, I literally have had people be like, it just seems like you don't care what people think." That's not to say I've never cared what people think, but but, like, why? I don't get it. Why wouldn't you wanna wake up and just, like, have fun and explore and create and try new things. And like my lifestyle definitely gives some of my friends like anxiety for sure. Like I've done wild things. I've packed up apartments and flown halfway across the world with literally no plan. Like I've done that a few times. I don't always recommend it, though it's worked out for me every single time. I would say the biggest factor is faith and trusting your gut and your intuition. And it's not always easy. I cry a lot. I stress a lot. There's a lot of anxiety, but like I've said before, the alternative is not appealing to me. Like remaining stagnant is not appealing to me. Not growing is not appealing to me. And expansion and growth and evolution involves taking risks and doing things that are uncomfortable and going to scary places, literally and figuratively speaking. So, and then you end up with like really fun stories to tell. I never wanted to have a boring life. I always imagined when I'm like 85 or something, I never wanted to look back. And this is no shade to people who live this way at all. This is just for me. Oh, she went to school and she got a job and she did this and that and then she died. Like I wanted, more elaborate stories to tell and all of these wild experiences. And so I think that's maybe also a driving force.
You can tell the world all of your adventures. That's beautiful.
Yeah, exactly that. Again, to each their own. This is not a judgment on anyone who chose a different path. This is just what resonates for me because I literally become like miserable if I'm not doing that, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You love life.
I try, but again, I'm very honest about I think that surprises people how honest I am about the trials and tribulations that come with it all. It's not all glitz and glamour, far from it. And doesn't matter what path you choose, there's going to be sacrifices and compromises is what you're willing to compromise. And for us artists and creatives, it's often money and like stability,
Yeah.
but then you get freedom and flexibility.
You're also a radio resident for Oroko Radio in Ghana. Can you tell us about that opportunity?
Yeah, I was there during the pandemic. And so two DJ peers of mine started this not for profit while we were all in Ghana. Like just again, the industry was shut down basically because everything was closed, and we're like, "What are what do we wanna do?" And so I'm so proud of what they have accomplished with the Roco Radio thus far, and, they asked me to be one of their residents, and I was like, "Yeah, this is a great opportunity to connect with, artists and creatives and DJs around the world, especially rooted in the African diaspora, because that's always been my jelly and my jam." So it just kind of made sense. And I had fallen in love with Ghana for many reasons while I was there and wanted to learn more about the continent itself. So it just kind of made sense at the time to help support creating a platform and a space to have those conversations and to connect with people all over the world. So it's been such an honor to have all of the guests that have been on my show. Like I'm so forever grateful that they have agreed to participate and share their talents with me and the world.
I love it. We have to go back to our motherlands to hear the messages. It's
Yeah,
amazing.
always.
It's amazing.
Mm.
When you look back on everything that you've done, your younger self in your room with the records and recorded songs in your bedroom, to the woman now who is a beautiful artist creating and sonically weaving all of these sounds together, what does it mean to you to fully claim the life that you've built?
Um, I've been saying this a lot lately as well. Like if touch wood, if like today's my last day on the planet, I'd be like, bet I did some stuff. I'd be pretty content. I created a life for myself that I was able to explore a lot of things I wanted to explore. I've had like 10 careers, only now do people know me as a DJ, but I've been several other things before that because again, I'm constantly wanting to like learn and push myself and try new things. I'm not scared to try new things because I'm kind of I don't want to say I get bored easily, but I'm always like, all right, what's next? What are we going to do next? And also, if something's not resonating with me in the same kind of way or in the same kind of intensity, I'm like, okay, maybe that's an intuitive push to kind of engage with it in a slightly different way, or maybe put it aside for a little bit and explore another form of expression. Let's just follow the vibes, you know what I mean? So I'm glad I'm a vibe follower, I guess. And it has led me to this point in my life. And I'm excited to, if God blesses me with more decades of life, um, to see what I'm going to do next.
What is next? Where does your truth bring you next?
I ponder this literally every single day. I'm like, what do I want to do next? I've been thinking of going back into photography because that's something I used to do of my many careers. I just definitely want to explore storytelling in various ways, whether that's writing, I'm working on a show, visual art, installations. I don't know. Again, it's whatever moves me in the moment, you know what I mean? So it's kind of like I'm tuning in with you guys with my own life. Like, what do you like ask me in a month and who knows? And that's what's kind of exciting about life. And that's what can be exciting about life is like oh wait, I have the ability to kind of carve out my own path. If you again have that privilege and luxury to do that, I'm like, well, I might as well.
Dre, your life's work is sacred no matter what you do, the sounds you create, the art that you make. I'm so incredibly grateful to have spoken with you today. Thank you. Thank you. The power that you show us through sound and artistry is amazing, and I'm ready to go.
Yeah. Like, yeah, yeah. Thank you so much.